Hey, so I figured I would make a YouTube video on this boat project I'm doing. There's a lot of videos out there, and figured I would put my little spin on this because there was something I saw that people were really struggling with, and I may be able to offer some helpful hints on how I was able to do it. So what I'm working on is the Volvo Penta steering actuator for my 2007 Cobalt on a 5.0 GXI G? Something like that. Anyways, my power steering had failed. I saw it on the boat when I took it for a test drive and put in probably 3 quarts of power steering or ATF fluid. Yeah, ATF. And it lost all of that as soon as I put it in. As fast as I put it in, it would just come right back out into the bilge. And then you would hear the groaning. So that wasn't fun. And I looked it up, and it appears to be a pretty common thing. There's tons of YouTube videos. Most of them are around like pulling the actuator, which is different for every boat. Thankfully, Cobalt boats are very generous with their space. So there's lots of more room compared to other videos I see on YouTube. On YouTube, I feel really bad for a lot of people that have to work with limited space. So thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that, and I didn't have any issues with corrosion on the cotter pins that hold it in. So it probably took me like 30 minutes to get the whole power steering actuator out after watching a bunch of videos. So I'm here at the house now, and I ordered a seal kit on eBay, and I did a lot of research and looked at different ones, looked up part numbers, and it looked like the right one, and it was the right one. It has all the seals in it that I need. I also ordered a seal kit for just the rod seal that fails from O-rings and things in California, which some other videos talked about. But they only give you like 2 seals. The one that's failing and the wiper seal, and I'll explain all that in the video. The one on eBay came with those same seals, but it also came with a lot of the other seals that you need to replace while you have everything taken apart anyways. So what I'll do is we'll take a look at this thing, and I'll kind of walk through what I did. But the main thing I'm trying to show is how to get the main seal in, because there's a groove that has to fit in, and people just really struggle with it. All right. So this thing is disassembled already. I've already got it pulled apart. You can see here's the end cap here. We'll take a look at this. This cap went in here, and to get this out, a lot of people put it in a vice grip, and then they would put pins in here in these little holes, and then they would tap it with a hammer trying to get it to break free. And I didn't have those pins, but what I did have was these 90-degree pliers, and they fit right in those holes right there. And pretty much I just put it in the vise, put it in here like this, and I just cranked on it as hard as I could. I didn't have to whack anything, and it just started coming loose. So I just made sure that I had pressure on the needles so they don't pop out, and then just turn it. It's kind of like snap ring pliers, but with big fingers. So this is probably one of my favorite tools. I use this for so many things. And then once I got that out, and this is the piece that comes off of the threaded portion. So once I got this out, I needed to pull this out all the way. But I couldn't get it out because it was attached to this. And to get that off, you don't want to clamp onto it. So I used the vice grip, and I happen to have these rubber Delrin, whatever they are, from working on BMWs. They use it it's a Vanos tool, because we have to do a similar seal replacement. And I just put the rod in there. It's got a little groove. Clamped it down, and I didn't have to whack this thing with the hammer at all. I just gripped it, and I started turning it, and it just twisted off. Like, it wasn't easy, but I didn't have to hit it with the hammer. So there's that. So once I got that off, I was able to pull this out and set this to the side. And here are all the old seals that I pulled out. So this seal right here, this is the wiper seal. This is not the main seal that does the sealing. This seal just sits in there like this. Well, what happened was, because, and I'll show pictures in the video, the seal in that groove was broken. And then because it was broken, something must have snagged on it with the push rod, and it broke. And once that happened, all the fluid started pushing out, and it pushed this wiper seal out. And so when I took the actuator out, the seal was just sitting like this. And so that's pretty much why this thing was heaving ATF fluid every time I dumped it in. Worst leak I've ever seen. So, yeah. So the seal kit on eBay, which I'll link in the description, came with these two right here. So this is the new seal. It's pliable, has a groove on the back. That groove goes away from you. So basically, when you're putting it in, the groove should be away from you. If you're putting it in and this is facing you, then that's wrong. It needs to go in this way. And that's very pliable. It doesn't break or snap. And this is the wiper seal, and it matches up here with this guy. So it came with those. Then it came with these two right here, which are new seals for these, which I replaced those. This is the old wiper one. So put that here. Then it came with these two bigger ones. This one right here, which I've already replaced, goes on this guy. And this bigger seal, this thicker seal, O-ring, goes on this thing. And of course, I think all of them have this. It's just like a split, a pre-split. I've seen another video that had that same thing. But it doesn't matter, even if fluid gets... I don't think this is meant to hold fluid. It's just for compression. The O-ring is for compression, I believe. So even if fluid seeps past this crack and goes through here, it's still held in by this. So I don't think that's a big deal. So yeah, I've already replaced the O-ring on here. I've replaced the O-ring seal on here. And I replaced these two. And then the only two are left are the main internal seal and then the wiper seal. This one will go in last once you assemble everything, and before the push rod, and it gets tapped in with a little socket. But the main thing I want to show is how to install this thing inside this housing. So I'm going to set the camera up so that we can get a downward view of this. Okay, so we're back with an overhead view. Get these out of the way. We don't need those anymore. We just have these. We have the... This is the main seal, and basically this thing is too big to go inside here. It literally just sits like that. So you need to be able to get this inside the groove. And so this is very similar to how we do it on BMWs with Vanos piston seals. In the Vanos system, there's an area that has a groove just like this, but the seals are a lot smaller, and you have to contort it in a way to get it in there. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to push the bottom of it upward into like, I'll show it to you when I'm done with it. I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and grab it. you're going to see it. So if you can see it here, you're doing like this so that you can actually get it into the groove and then expand it out. So then, see if I can get it in here. So now, see how you can just got it in there and then let it go. And it will just pop back into place. And that's it. It's in. And to get the old seal out on other videos, theirs came out in maybe 1 or 2 pieces. Mine didn't come out at all. It was completely disintegrated. So as soon as I touched it with a pick, it would just disintegrate and fall to gelatin. So I pretty much had to pick it out carefully without scoring the inside edges. And then there was just plastic residue all in this chamber, and it was all inside here. So once I did that, I just got a brake cleaner and I just cleaned everything out as best I could. Clean it out here and just dripped it out. Clean the groove out. Spray the whole inside of this out. I did it outside and then checked everything, make sure there was nothing in there. And that was it. That's pretty simple. That took like 5 minutes. And you just got to get the right seal. I saw some other videos of people that got the wrong seal, and I think the problem comes from that there's 2 or 3 different versions of this Volvo Penta steering actuator. A lot of them look similar, but some of them have snap rings, and this is the one that doesn't have a snap ring. If your actuator has a snap ring, then this is not for you. I think some of the newer ones have snap rings, and they have similar leaks, but they have different seals, different sized O-rings and seals, and that's where the problem is. So you just have to make sure. Typically, when I looked at all my videos, I made sure that the videos I saw, they had this. If they didn't have this and they had a snap ring instead, then that wasn't for me. And then also on eBay, you could do a lot of comparisons of looking at their pictures. But I'll link the eBay one in there, and the contact information for O-rings and things. Yeah, let's take this out. There we go. Oh, we're zoomed in. Let's get rid of that. Sorry. There we go. So I hope that is super helpful. I'm going to, I guess we can jump right into it now. Just see if we can assemble this exactly how it is. Because, I mean, that seal's good. I like that seal. And it's very pliable, so it should work. I'll keep the O-rings and things when it comes in just to have it on hand. And I guess I shouldn't have taken this down. Let me put it back up. All right. Still recording? Nice. All right, so that seal is back in. That looks good. And there's a little ATF here, so I'm going to take that and lube that seal up. Go here, and I'm going to clean this inside area where the wiper seal is going to go in. So then we have this guy, the wiper seal. Yeah. This guy here, just going to go in here, and we're going to give it a, just kind of press it in place. Okay, and then give it a little tappy tap. It's nice and flush. And then we're gonna get a socket. All right, so a 17 millimeter. Look at us Americans. I think that's it. I don't want to go too crazy with it. Yep, it's on there. So it doesn't go flush. It gets tapped in to where there is it's slightly recessed. And you'll actually see it too. There's a beveled, it's like a beveled part. It's not a straight cut. It's got a slight bevel at a, I'm not even going to guess at the degrees that is. But anyways, it sits right below where the bevel is, and that's it, or right at the bevel. Can you see that? Good. So then the next thing, come in here. Let me see if I got any. Okay, we'll see if we can. There we go. I got my transmission fluid here, and I'm literally just all right. Just get it on there, and also on this O-ring too. It's all drenched anyways in fluid once the whole system's going. All right, so the next thing, so you can see that just sits in there. Before I go crazy and start pushing out that way, I'm going to bring it to this side, kind of watch it come through the wiper seal. And it came through. Didn't appear to push anything through, which is good. And we're going to give this a tap here. Good. So you can feel as you pull on this and push it in, you can feel air, the compression coming out of these holes. So, but I think that's it. So now that that's done, then I can go ahead and finish reassembling this thing, and I'll probably put some thread sealer on here to get this back together. So I have this thread sealer, high temperature stuff. Don't have to go too crazy. Could be like similar to pipe dope that you use joint compound on plumbing. And you don't have to go crazy and like build up a 1/4 inch of this stuff. You just got to kind of coat the threads. Even if all of them aren't coated, it's okay, because as you twist, it will fill the threads in. At least in theory, that's what my brain tells me. Thread this thing in. And like I showed earlier, kind of put it in there and start twisting away. Because you put the thread sealant on there, it also makes it a little easier, less friction. So that's on there. When all's said and done, I'll throw it back on a vise and just give it one more tug. Make sure it's okay. I'm trying to keep this thing nice and clean. Probably when I put it in, I'll put not thread sealer, but some type of, well, maybe thread sealer or Loctite on here. This is where the steering cable goes through from the steering wheel. That actually goes in through this system here before you put in the cotter pins to lock it in place with the lock pins. So that's done. So we replaced that seal, these two seals, the internal seal, the wiper seal, and that's it. So all the seals have been replaced on this. So the last thing is threading this back into place here, considering that this can rotate inside this assembly here because it's got just an O-ring in there. It probably could, with over time from vibrations, slowly work itself back out. This is blue thread locker, not red. They just put it in a red bottle. I wish I could figure out how auto manufacturers, when you buy bolts with red or blue thread locker from the factory, from the original equipment manufacturer, their thread locker is not liquid. It's dry and it's in the threads. And mine never do that. It always stays liquid. I don't know why. I think this stuff only becomes effective in an airtight situation. So right now it's not airtight. There's air, so it's just going to stay liquefied. And it's not until maybe they throw them in a machine that has a vacuum and they suck all the air out so that it cures it. But here, once you thread it in place, there will be an absence of air, and then the Loctite will just work. And one of the things you have to make sure, I think, when you're putting all this together, back into the boat, is cleaning all this corrosion up here and dirt and re-greasing all of this where all the pins are, so nothing, you don't get a bad metal on metal contact with the pins. All right, so this is on. It's now rotating the shaft. So yeah, we'll bring this over here. So then I got my little put this guy here. So now we'll go ahead and get this tightened down. Make sure this is facing away from my car so ATF doesn't get sprayed all over it. All right. That is in there. These here. Open it up all the way. Stick it in here. I'm going to put pressure on this so it doesn't pop out. And And then I don't grab on both of the handles. I just grab on this top one here. Yep. That's not going anywhere. As they say. Wish this thing was electric and it would just push a button and retract. All right. Turn this around here. We're back. All right, so here we are. We have I swear this thing looks like a gun with a scope. But here we go. It is back and ready to go back into the boat. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be at all from all the videos I saw. You see, there's the Loctite there. I'll wipe that up. It's got its thread sealant right there. So yeah, that's it. And let's go here. I'll clean this up before I compress it one more time. And this thing will be ready to go. And it looks like there's a casting on here too. 10/06. Mine was a 2007 boat, so we'll say October 2006 is probably the date of this thing. All right, well, sorry for the long video. That took, I'll probably chop it down. But hopefully you guys get some good info out of that. A lot of the videos didn't really go into detail on the O-rings, especially that main one. And I really wanted to show that because that's one of the hardest ones to do. And you saw that if you do it the right way, you can get it done pretty quick. But all right, thanks a lot.